Some says, knowledge nahi hoga to bhi chalega. Focus on OLQs, have a routine, do this, do that. So what is your point of view in this scenario, sir?
Technically speaking, हमारे उसमें all OLQs are same and nothing here and there. But reasoning जो है ना हमारे लिए mother of all qualities है. We are on the watch for such candidates who are limelight seekers. So if you are working to show me, then it is artificial.
I have seen candidates who are very over smart and they feel like they can, really fool a GTO. But after hearing you, that perception has completely changed because I think experience is experience. While most candidates believe that GTO assists the group, but the reality is far deeper. In every SSP batch, few individuals quietly draw the GTO's attention, not through dominance, but through their calm presence, reaction, decision-making instinct. Jai Hind Defense Aspirant, I hope you're doing well. My name is Sheetal Yadav, and today we are being joined by somebody who has been on the other side, Colonel Rabi Mukerjee, a former senior GTO who has assessed over 6,000 candidates at 20 SSP Bhopal and 18 SSP Allahabad. He not just seen potential, he selected and shaped over 450 future officers for the Indian Army. Commissioned in 1988 from IMA Dehradun into the prestige 34 Medium Maratha Regiment, Colonel Mukherjee served in high altitude zone, counter-insurgency operation in South Kashmir and even helped develop remote detonation artillery shells. But it was in the Service Selection Board that his eye for leadership, clarity, and officers like quality truly made an impact. In this powerful conversation, we unpack that really made a candidate get noticed in the GTO ground. This episode is not just about how to perform, it's about how to become one that can't be ignored. Today, Colonel Mukherjee continues to serve the next generation of leaders as an assessor and mentor at LWS Academy in Dwarka, Delhi, where he guides aspirants to tap into their true potential, not by faking it, but by understanding what the forces are truly looking for. So make sure to watch till the end. I hope you will get to learn something new. Without any further delay, let's get back to the video. Jayan sir, welcome to the platform. And I'm really very happy to have you here, not only because you have very distinguished service in the Forge, but apart from that, sir, you were also a senior GTO, not only in one board, but two boards. And that really excites me, and thereafter I've prepared the questions according to it because, sir, I really want to fetch all the experience as much as I can in this video. Thank you so much for joining me.
Thank you again for having me over into your channel, and it shall be a pleasure to share all my ideas and experiences. Thank you for also honoring me with the word of being a senior GTO in two birds, but it has been an honor actually. And if you recognize it, it's fine. And I'll be there always to help and invigorate our youngsters with lots and lots of knowledge so that their lives go ahead and you achieve success. So once again, thanks again. It's an honor this side also.
It's indeed my pleasure, sir. Sir,
Yeah.
I have seen that, first impression is the last impression. And being a GTO, sir, I have seen GTO wearing goggles and, smartly standing corner observing everybody. So,
Yeah.
sir, is there any, how long does it take for a GTO to have that initial impression about a candidate in the initial task, sir?
Well, it is very clearly worked out. All right. There is a basic series, there's a confirmatory, and then there's the final series. So basic series is when I wouldn't call it impression. It is the fields in which we are trying out and checking out a person.
Okay.
So there is the abstract field and then there is the practical field. Abstract is something like, it is going beyond your childhood and now able to think about your future, imagine new things. So all that is abstract thinking. And that is the start point for being an officer because you'll be required to plan, work out strategies, whole lot of things. And you will be also required to apply your knowledge on ground. So these two aspects are the start point. So therefore, it's not how long does it take. It is a series of tasks in which a person has to be effective. So every task is of equal importance. And the first four tasks, that is the group discussion, planning exercise, progressive group task, that is towards practical field, and the group obstacle race. So by the time it ends, the GTO has a clear picture as to who are the performers and who are the non-performers. So of course, you speak well, there's some things, they do make a mark and there is the interest which is generated because after all, we are looking for positives.
Right, sir.
So I am looking for the diamonds, isn't it?
Yes, sir.
So that's how it goes.
Right, sir. So there are a lot of observation which is being made by the GTO. And I've seen that, sir, everybody try to impress them by their actions, by their body language, in whatever way possible, sir. Is there any subtle behavior, that can stand out in task when they are performing the GTO, which is run by a candidate?
See, this is the technique adapted from the science of psychology called the observation technique, where your sample subject is placed as part of a group. So here also as a candidate, of course, all are our samples. They are maximum 10 and minimum 6. So now, is there any subtle behavior? I wouldn't say that. The behavior part is a manifestation of the stresses and the situation. But more than anything else, what we are looking for is the knowledge, the output. So that is the more catchy part rather than some part of your behavior. Now, a subtle behavior, well, subtle is hidden. But here we are looking for displayed qualities. So when your qualities are displayed and they are matching up to the mark or the image of a desirable officer, or what we call as the average profile of an officer, that comes out. All right. Now, what is a behavior? Like, for example, you said and emphasized on the word behavior. Behavior is when we display it in front of others. Otherwise, alone, you are what you are. But when you're interacting with groups, what is the kind of quality you're displaying? For example, is your goodwill coming out? Are you somebody who is able to gather everyone together and kind of emerge as a leader? Are you somebody who becomes become one in the group out of the 10 as the one towards whom everyone starts looking up? For example, it starts with, let's say, as you were saying, what are the little things, markers which come up? There are candidates who there's a massive discussion in the GD, of course. But there are those who, all of a sudden, when there's a silence, there are those who come up with such beautiful ideas and knowledge about the topic that it really catches your eye. And mind you, we are recording everything. When we do, it's a kind of a shorthand. We are recording what the person spoke, when he spoke, in what order he or she spoke, and then whether you shook a leg, whether you scratched your head, whether you made a gesture, everything is written by us.
Okay.
All right.
Right, sir.
Now, somebody speaks a bit, comes into a planning exercise, and you're the one who keeps giving ideas towards the end. And then the whole group starts looking up. Look, this is the person who would, will be able to gather our ideas and face the GTO and the crowd and speak. So everyone tries to starts looking up to you. These are the subtle things we can say, or the underlying, in a way, the overall kind of behavior we see in the group, that we say that yes, there's somebody who's making the mark.
So, like, one of the things you have mentioned is leadership. And I've
Yeah.
seen people considering loudness and, dominance is the subset of leadership. Like in a group of 8 to 10 people, will be certain people who will be dominating the group,
Yeah.
trying to show their presence.
Yeah.
So, what do you have to say on that, sir?
Well, the word loud has two connotations.
Okay.
One is when you speak and you don't let others speak. And you kind of, your voice is also not clear, and neither do you let. So you're creating the noise. It becomes noise in the discussion. Let's take group discussion, for example. So there are some who speak clearly, who give out the things, and there are some who are interrupting everyone, or you're continuing to speak, and this becomes the loud part. Because somebody may have mentored or guided and said, "Aapko jaake bolna hai." But
Right.
what the person forgets is that it's not bolna, aapko contribute karna hai. And it is your behavior which is also being observed. So that translates into loudness. The other part is boisterous behavior. That is loudness in terms of your behavior, that you try to look more than what you are.
Okay.
All right. So these are the two parts. So if you speak good English, you try to butt in and speak. But ideas say that if everyone speaks good English, should be also giving good ideas, because otherwise you just utter some very nice flowery sentences that has no meaning. That is superficial behavior.
Yeah.
So, well, there are people who are limelight seekers. who try to look at the GTO and speak and
Yeah.
speak for the sake of speaking, it is very evident after the first few minutes.
Right.
Whereas there are others, like you said, loudness compared to being a very definitive or clear person who
Hmm.
makes the mark in the task. And who is making the mark? It is the person who is effective. We are very clear on our things.
Okay.
How's the behavior and how did the person contribute towards a common task of the group? And
Okay.
how often, how effective. So the word is everywhere I'm seeing the effectiveness. So now you're loud, you're actually spoiling this ultimate, goal.
Okay.
So it is a fact, and it is very good that you have brought this out. That should I shout? What
Hmm.
do I do? And people become apprehensive. Now, again, now we come to this part. When somebody is psychologically anxious by nature,
Okay.
you tend to overdo things. And in that process, you become loud
Hmm.
because you feel कि मैं जल्दी जल्दी बोल दूं and somebody else will not be able to hear me, तो मैं आवाज भी बढ़ा दूं. But in
Hmm.
the process, you've forgotten this basic part that you're not being effective. You're being rather an irritant with the GTO.
Right, sir.
And this is the worst thing which can happen, no matter what we say, a GTO or any other assessor. The
Hmm.
worst part is when a candidate becomes a hindrance to the data flow of data from the group.
Hmm.
Person is trying to assess everyone, and you become a hindrance over there.
Right, sir.
So there is, both ways that you tend to mark such a person ki yaar, this man, he's because in the initial tasks we don't interfere. We not the technique tells us if you interfere, you'll stop the flow of data.
Right.
So this is what the word loudness, how it can affect things, and it is always counterproductive.
Okay. So, बहुत तरह के नेचर के कैंडिडेट्स भी आते हैं. There are some ambiverts, there are introverts, and there are extroverts. It's just
Yeah.
a thing that I really want to know from your point of view. Are there any candidates who are silent observer? They will be selected over some, vocal candidates. Are there such chances of a candidate?
So yeah, there are, because when that silent one speaks, maybe once or twice, it is
Mhm.
matter.
Okay.
But when the vocal one speaks, it is all superficial.
All
Now
right.
the vocal one thinks, मैंने तो बोला था, मैंने तो बार-बार भाग लिया था, and so I should be this thing. But then what did you speak? Did you contribute to the task, or was it just noise?
Hmm.
Whereas the introvert one, I won't, introvert is actually not a very useful word as far as the GTO part is concerned or the group tasks are concerned, because it is all based on displayed qualities. You display, that means you display how well you can articulate your ideas, how well you can use your words and speak. What
Mhm.
are your level of, how do I know the level of knowledge? Till the person speaks. And if he
Right.
speaks, then he's not an introvert.
Right, sir.
So
Absolutely right.
if your mom, then the story is over. But then every task is of equal nature. No single task is very important.
Hmm.
And therefore, if you have not spoken, you have the second GD.
Mhm.
You get a chance in the second GD. And there are many candidates, actually do like this. They, in the first GD, they display a introvertish kind of behavior.
Mhm.
Either knowledge is not there or knowledge is there. But, many have told me later,
Mhm.
not from the GTO part, but when I'm mentoring and guiding at our LWS Academy,
Mhm.
many have come up to me and said, Ki, sir, actually, I have been always taught to give others a chance to speak, and we don't shout in our home and all that. So then I have to guide them, Ki, look, you have to change a bit for
Right.
meeting your requirement of displaying your qualities.
Mhm.
So introvert hai, it's part of the nature of many people. As I told you, it is your either your ideas, you are you're an intellectual, your
Mhm.
ideas don't match. So then you say कि क्या बोलना है इस भीड़ में? And there are others who lack knowledge. There are others who lack words. There are many who by nature are introvertish. It sometimes comes in the DNA.
Mhm.
So they have to really fight it to come out of it, you know.
Okay.
And
Right.
that is how, when such people arrive in our academy and they are with our mentors at LWS, and our coordinators who are continuously goading them to speak. Gradually, the person starts coming up.
Mhm.
And that's the greatest happiness for us.
Yes.
That so and so, initial stages, you watch that he was quiet. Like, today itself, I met such a person
All right, sir.
whose face had almost become like a crybaby in the middle of a discussion. This was a PPDT going on, of course.
Mhm.
And I could see that person in distress. That मैं बोलना चाहता हूँ, मैं बोल नहीं पा रहा हूँ. So, well, the answer is the power of expression. So ideas are there, then the words are not there. So both have to be there because who's an officer? An officer is the team leader for the armed
Right.
forces. And as a team leader, you got to convince your people. You got to motivate your people. Now, if you are introvert by nature,
Mhm.
your jawans will have to come and ask me, Saab, मुझे बोलो कि क्या करना है? What do I have to do?
Right, sir.
You can't just sit there,
Mhm.
isn't it?
Right,
And
sir.
it's everywhere. All right.
Like, sir, you mentioned right now that you're a part of LWS. How is your
Yeah.
experience going on with the candidates who will be going for their upcoming SSB?
Well, these days the graduate entries are there, AFCAT, etc.
Mhm.
That's a pretty nice batch. I'm very happy with the batch.
Okay.
And when the batch responds well at
Mhm.
our LWS, you tend to spend more time. The
Okay.
pleasure of it's not teaching, actually it's
Mhm.
not teaching. Here you're actually working with a person's personality.
Mhm.
That too, there is that great wish and desire to rise up high in life, to be a success, to work for your family, to change everything from where you are and where you would like to be. Now, so therefore, sometimes it's a monetary game, but it is not a monetary game which we have
Okay.
because we are connected with our students and candidates. We like to, you keep thinking, you come back after, explaining things to them, and you keep thinking about that person. Ki tomorrow, when I go back, I think I'll spend more time with this boy.
Okay.
And like there were two boys from Kerala, and they've come here. And the
To
first,
Delhi?
yeah,
Kerala to Delhi, sir. Okay.
yeah, Kerala to Delhi is a long way. And, you know, they are all family oriented people.
Mhm.
And and they are Fauji's also. We have, the ACC entry also coming
Right.
to us. Now I found that the first day they were not speaking and there were hang-ups,
Mhm.
language problem. I have this problem. I have that problem. So then I spoke with them and I spoke in the open forum, but generally I kind of involved them in the discussion. I said, you have a wish,
Mhm.
you have a desire, and you have your result, which you know. Now,
Mhm.
if there is a very big, you create that big gap. You say, I know only this language and
Mhm.
I'm not ready to modify myself. So then what happens? You are creating that big chasm of, non-adjustment and whole like such issues.
Right.
So well, they spoke today in the discussion. And I found, well, what a surprise. Viola, Viola. It was a Viola. I said,
Right.
wow, you could speak. And there was a smile. And my smile generates
Mhm.
more smiles.
Right.
And so they were happy. And the ideas were coming. I was very happy. Yes, this man can imagine. He can bring out a productive story,
Mhm.
everything. So it's
Okay.
okay. Our job is done at the end of the day.
Right.
All right. So in LWS, especially, I found this connection of the heart. I'll
All
tell
right.
you an instance, there was something pretty recently, and it gave me a lot of happiness. Actually, it was a bit of a surprise. So one of these days, what happened that I'd finished my work, and sometimes you do get that in this hot weather, you want to get back home and all that.
Mhm.
So there's this very youngish looking kiddo, and he comes up to me and touches my feet. And, touching of feet, sometimes, in metros and all, people don't do it. But when somebody touches your feet in this place and all, it gives you a Gurukul kind of an effect.
Wow,
So,
sir.
anyways, before I could do anything, he touched my feet and so I said, yeah, I said, I've seen you before and I had marked you and you're done well and all that. So what happened? He said, sir, I am now in my second term in NDA and I
Wow.
have come on leave. I said, छुट्टी में तो घर भागते हैं, तू यहाँ पे आ गया. So he said, sir, actually ये भी घर है ना मेरा.
Wow.
I was so happy. I've never seen this. I have been with so many, as a faculty with many other places, and that's also been a great experience. But never this. I mean, I can't imagine that he
Mhm.
should be running home,
जी
but
sir.
he's come here first from Pune
Mhm.
and he's come to meet everyone, spend time with his elders and bhaiyas, who they call, the mentors and all,
Mhm.
who are our
Right.
coordinators and all. And he is going back after meeting them because that's a family. The bonding has taken place. He
That's
wants to
very important.
see. And so when this boy is passing through the crowd, which has
Mhm.
come now, the students, they
Mhm.
get inspired. He also feels good that I was here. Till
Right.
yesterday, I was here. Today, I am kind of at a, uh, you know, my life is changing. And once you're
Absolutely.
in the NDA, your life is made. The SSB takes place once.
Mhm.
You're the NDA. Thereafter, you're in the academy, get your stars, become an officer, and contribute to
Absolutely.
the nation. Yeah. So it's happiness to meet, this is fun. Like, at least I will always remember it in my life. That this
Absolutely.
boy
It must
came
be a
to
special
this
moment.
home of his first.
जी sir.
Yeah. That's
Sir,
the attachment we have over here, There's a fun of being with candidates. Yeah. Continue, please.
so, I mean, I was just listening you, and I could identify that, you would have met to lot of candidates, hundreds of group, thousands of candidates. Is there any particular group you have met, and you feel like, this is the perfect definition of a group or a team group, what we say it, team spirit, and, they all are meant to get recommendation, and there were certain traits in that group that was very identical to you.
Okay, so as I was telling you that this was way back in 2006, I
Mhm.
had this group of, it was a women's batch, and I take a lot of pride in doing assessment for a women's batch because uh, half of my training is actually gone with women batches.
Okay.
So there was this group of girls, and I'll tell you about the countenance a bit later, how they look and all that. But it started off with the group discussion part, and I really had to give it a thought what topics I'm giving here.
Okay.
And they were a cut above the rest. That was the first take which I had. I had to really work hard that because normally you have a batch of 10 or 5 or 7 or 8 or 9,
Mhm.
and there are 2 3 who speak well, and it becomes a very clear cut game, and so it's easy, assessment is easier. But with this group, everyone was way above my own mark. And I said, like today is going to be, I have to really think now who's given at what level of knowledge is coming out. I was in knowledge, not about the spoken English or
Mhm.
behavior. And they were all very comfortable with each other.
Okay.
And then I felt that some of them were dainty. So I said, okay, now practical task. So there'll be a lot of ones who will roll, many heads will roll. But then I found that all these with delicate hands and everything, and yet they were at it. And there are many who got hurt. The hands were chafed and they had, little bleeding and all that. I had to ask for some bandages and all. But there was a girl who got hurt also.
Okay.
No, the plank fell on her hand. So it was bleeding.
Mhm.
But she continued. She said, nothing doing, sir. We are going to go ahead with the task. And I kind of had to hold my own. I am a father of 2 daughters, so it makes an effect.
Mhm.
So at the end of the day, can you believe it? I mean, this even with our GTO parlance, nobody will agree, but that day the entire board nodded, and everyone was congruent in my with my assessment. That means I cleared 7 out of 10.
Wow.
7 recommended out of my batch of 10,
Mhm.
and everyone else was also congruent. That means they also had cleared the same.
Okay.
Rather, one odd was more. So that's the only one odd candidate we discussed. Rest was clear cut.
Okay.
Now let me tell you, they were all minimum 5'6" in height and physically all fit. No question.
All right, sir.
So I said the future of the Indian Army for both the genders is intact. I was a
Right.
very happy man because, at the end of the day, the story is starting off with the SSR.
Right, sir.
If I make some kind of an error in my judgment, it will start with an error. That personality will get inducted in the armed forces with an error.
Right.
A question. When that question becomes a bigger question in the personality, you don't know. So you get satisfaction कि well यहाँ पे कोई भी ऐसा there was no thought, second thought in selecting, and he felt proud of the women of our country. And they were from all the states, more or less all the states, and even I would say multi-religious.
Wow. That was not expected, sir.
Not
That
expected.
seven
I was like,
recommendations is huge
yeah.
from a batch.
So I even thought that maybe I'm getting carried away by the personality and this and that. You don't want to lose, good personality. And हर एक को मैं देख रहा था कि ये तो यूएन मिशन में जाएंगी तो हो मतलब इंडियन आर्मी तो छा जाएगा बिल्कुल. बट
Right.
मैंने देखा जब ये बोलेंगी when they will speak, then तो फिर बात तो अलग ही है फिर. How our country's image will come forth. I mean, I was thinking of the future and आगे क्या होगा. And
Right,
I'm
sir.
sure all of them and most of them have done very well.
Mhm.
And I'm sure they must be minimum at colonel's level now,
Okay.
surely.
So a statement is always floating on internet among the candidates that GTO is watching you. What does it exactly mean? Does it mean that GTO is paying attention equally to every candidate or their attention shift to certain candidates over the task pass?
When it's a group, the
Right.
whole thing is based on observation.
Right.
So my job is to get the candidates busy in the task
Mhm.
and make them forget that I'm watching them. Number
Okay.
one. But still, things like GD, etc., they are like, for example, planning exercise, it's a semicircle. So they see, and I have to sit there. I have a role to play.
Mhm.
So, but it is based on observation technique. So GTO has to observe everyone. He is observing everyone equally. It is a part of my thing that we have to be objective in our task and not subjective and get focused on one person and keep looking at that person. My assessment would go awry and it would get spoiled. What will I answer in the conference then? So we have an equal observation of every candidate.
Okay.
And of course, somebody speaks well or something, will get a due attention definitely at the time when the ideas are flowing. All
Mhm.
right. It is observation technique I have to watch.
Okay.
That
All
is
right.
there.
Sir, I've also seen candidates sharing that, while performing the task, they slightly check that whether GTO is paying attention to their task or not, especially in tasks like PGT. They make sure if they are performing, slightly have a vision that, he's coming into the insights of GTO. So what are the performance
Yeah.
markers that really pulls GTO's attention to that particular candidate? I mean, are there any such performance marker? And if any, sir, if you can share any of the incident.
Yeah. We'll divide your question into two parts.
Okay.
First is the candidate checking whether GTO मुझे देख रहा है कि नहीं.
Hmm.
So this is called a limelight seeker candidate.
Okay.
जो कि काम करके फिर देखता है जीटीओ की सर तरफ कि सर देखो मैंने कितना अच्छा बांधा है, मैं कितना अच्छा बोला, मैं तो सर मैंने आइडिया दिया था. So what's happening? Your natural personality is not being displayed.
Right.
We are on the watch for such candidates who are
Mhm.
limelight seekers. And they will say, अरे जीटीओ तो मुझे देख नहीं रहा था, मेरा तो काम ही वही है.
Mhm.
I have to get you involved in your work so that
Mhm.
you remain natural at all times and your natural self comes forward, not your artificial self. So if you are working to show me, then it is artificial. If you are working towards the result of the task, if you are
Mhm.
speaking towards the topic and discussing the matter from your heart. If, if you are speaking in even a lecturate, you're connecting with the topic from your heart and not कि रटा हुआ चीज बोलो देखो सर कैसे सेंटेंस मारा मैंने, तो फिर तो ये तो आर्टिफिशियल बात हो गई ना.
Absolutely, sir.
तो ब्यूटी कॉन्टेस्ट तो नहीं
Mhm.
होल्ड कर रहा हूँ. आप समझ रहे हो बात को.
Right,
सो
sir.
लाइमलाइट सीकिंग और लाइमलाइट सीकर ऑटोमेटिकली मार्क हो जाता है कि ये कैंडिडेट आर्टिफिशियल है, लाइमलाइट सीकर है, सिर्फ अपनी एंड्स के लिए काम कर रहा है, इसको ग्रुप से कोई मतलब नहीं है.
Mhm.
But there are other candidates who work and behave as though, yes, this idea which they are taking out is to bail out the group from the task. I'm talking about PGT.
Okay.
They are the ones who come in and move in. But there are others who जोर जोर से बोल के या पीछे से चिल्ला रहे हैं and all that. कोई
Right,
फायदा
sir.
नहीं है.
I've seen that. Right,
तो
sir.
ये वो वाली बात हो गई कि आप मतलब शो में बिलीव करते हो, आप प्रोजेक्ट कर रहे हो अपने आप को. ठीक
Mhm.
है. अभी your second part was that are there any subtle, what you said, what do you call
Performance
markers,
markers. Right, sir.
performance markers? It's not a performance marker. It is actually you being effective in the task. So there are 10 people,
Okay.
but then you are the one who's contributing and your behavior is cooperative. It has goodwill. Because हम क्या थोड़ी ना टास्क के अंदर दिखाएंगे मैं अडेप्टेबल हो रहा हूँ, मैं गुडविल दिखा रहा हूँ एंड ऑल दोस काइंड ऑफ थिंग्स.
Right,
आप
sir.
ऐसे कर नहीं सकते हो ना, अभी तो है नहीं ना ह्यूमन नेचर में.
Mhm.
ह्यूमन नेचर क्या है? गुडविल है,
Right.
कोऑपरेटिव बिहेवियर है. तो कोऑपरेटिव बिहेवियर कर आपका नेचुरल आना चाहिए, मतलब आपके वो आपकी साइकी में होना चाहिए.
Right, sir.
तो जो कैंडिडेट कोऑपरेटिव बिहेवियर गुडविल के साथ साथ
Mhm.
आइडिया आगे आके कर देता है, करता है, तो
Mhm.
दिस इज व्हाट आई एम लुकिंग. एंड मोमेंट यू डू दैट यू आर
Mhm.
इफेक्टिव. सो इट इज नॉट दैट कि वो एक ऐसा कुछ किया तो
Mhm.
आगे आ गया. नो.
Mhm.
Every task, we are ranking the individuals
Okay.
and we are rating the person. Rating means against my idea of the ideal officer
Okay.
और एवरेज प्रोफाइल ऑफ ऑफिसर कि
Mhm.
अगर मेरा सिलेक्ट होने वाला कैंडिडेट होता है यहाँ पे
Mhm.
तो उसके अगेंस्ट इसका कैसे रहा है बिहेवियर.
Mhm.
एंड दैट इज द आर्ट of becoming an assessor and
Mhm.
particularly that of the GTO part.
Okay.
We have to observe with a guru shishya kind of teaching that
Mhm.
when we train as GTOs, तो one to one होता है.
ठीक है.
I sit and observe and
Okay.
I watch a person assessing a batch
Mhm.
and then our assessment has to gradually match.
Right.
वो जैसे देखते हैं कैंडिडेट्स को, क्या मेरा ट्रेनी भी वैसे देख रहा है.
Mhm.
तो मान लो किसी टास्क में कैंडिडेट ने एक बार बोला
Mhm.
जीडी में, अच्छा बोला, he'll not meet the mark because you're supposed to have been effective. You're not consistent in the task in itself.
Absolutely, sir.
And when it comes to, say, for example, progressive group task, normally start line में था, but एक बार आके आइडिया दिया और चला गया. But
Okay.
was the candidate consistent throughout the task?
Mhm.
No. तो मेरे लिए वो डाउटफुल जोन में आ जाएगा. तो ये
Okay.
जो मार्कर है ना, वो डाउटफुल वाले कैंडिडेट्स का होता है.
Okay, sir.
बट so there are ways of understanding. The marker for me is the rating of the candidate against my idea of the ideal person or candidate who would be there,
Mhm.
right? And it's an overall marker.
All right,
जैसे
sir.
बोलते हैं ना, छलनी है तो
Mhm.
छलनी में से सोना भी जा रहा है और मिट्टी के कण भी जा रहे हैं.
Mhm.
पर वो छलनी में जो छलनी मेरा मार्कर और उसके अंदर जो सोना है वो बह रहा है और जो सोना के नगेट्स फंस गए तो वो
Mhm.
मेरे आ गए सिलेक्शन में.
Okay, sir.
ऑलराइट.
Right, sir. Sir, I've also seen that while performing the GTO, अगर एक task खराब हो जाता है, so they start having that assumption that now I'll not be get selected, and therefore this question I feel like it becomes very important. Being consistent in the group and being consistent under pressure also, that plays very important, sir. Therefore, I
Yes,
want to
yes.
know, sir, does feeling in one task reveals more than, performing in all the task? How does it impact?
Firstly, no single task is particularly important.
Okay.
Second is, let's not, I mean, kind of word fail तो नहीं बोलेंगे क्योंकि वो तो screening के पार आ गया है.
Mm-hmm.
So we can use maybe the fact underperforming in a task.
Right.
Like you were supposed to speak in GD और आप बोले नहीं, आप बोलने की कोशिश की नहीं बोले.
Mm-hmm.
But no single task is important.
Mm-hmm.
But it does make an impression. After all, वो भी तो human being है जो आपको judge कर रहा है.
Right.
पर you can make it up always. मतलब मैं आपको बताता हूँ, वही बोलते हैं ना कि देखो, इफ यू गो मैथमेटिकली तो फिर तो क्या, जो जीडी में बोला था नहीं बोला, जीपी में थोड़ा सा बोला, और उसके बाद लेक्चरेट में बहुत अच्छा बोल गया, तो हम बोले बहुत लेट है भाई तेरे लिए,
Mm-hmm.
तो बहुत लेट जगह, लेकिन लेक्चरेट तो अच्छा दिया था, तो शुड आई लूज दैट कैंडिडेट?
Mm-hmm.
नहीं ना.
Not really, sir.
तो मेरे लिए वो डाउटफुल जोन में आ जाता है. मे बी ही मे नॉट मीट द रिकमेंडेड मार्क फॉर मी,
Mm-hmm.
बट इफ अदर्स आर रिकमेंडिंग दैट कैंडिडेट, आई विल वेरी कंफर्टेबली से यस, कि सर शायद थोड़ा नर्वस था, बोल नहीं पाया, बट आइडिया तो है, द पर्सन कैन एक्सप्रेस द आइडियाज,
Right, sir.
so it is okay. So
Mm-hmm.
no single task is important. You
Okay.
can always come up, बट ये थोड़ा ज्यादा अगर हो जाए ना तो थोड़ा
Mm-hmm.
मुश्किल हो जाता है. जैसे आप ग्रुप टास्क में जीडी में नहीं बोले,
Mm-hmm.
थोड़ा सा बोलने का कोशिश किया प्लानिंग एक्सरसाइज में, फिर लेक्चरेट बड़ी इजी से टॉपिक लेके उसमें भी बीच में भूल गए. अब
Okay.
देन यू आर नॉट ट्राइंग टू मेक अप.
Got it, sir.
सो जोश अगर जिसमें होता है ना, वो कर ही लेता है,
Mm-hmm.
वो कहीं ना कहीं से आ जाता है.
Mm-hmm.
Should I share a little anecdote with you about this
Please,
part
please.
only?
Right, sir.
Yeah. So, there was this lot of Fauji's actually, but they are also bubbly youngsters only.
Mm-hmm.
All are dear Jawans who want to become officers. And actually, when I'm serving, I'll be involved in this kind of activity of training such boys. So there was this boy who was from the Sikh Paltan, okay? And we met in Sikkim. And I
Mm-hmm.
was training this whole lot of guys. Now, this boy, this Jawan, I would say, young guy, but his English was patthar maar. Means वर्ड वुड जोड़ जाड़ के वो कर देगा, मतलब जुगाड़ बोलते हैं ना. हिज
Mm-hmm.
इंग्लिश वाज टोटल जुगाड़, बट हिज आइडियाज वर नॉट.
Okay.
सो एज यू आर सेइंग ना मार्कर, तो
Mm-hmm.
मैंने उसको थोड़ा सा टारगेट तो कर लिया था, बट नाउ दिस गाय, आई टोल्ड दीज सच बॉयज हु हैड सम इश्यूज, आई सेड लुक, थोड़ा सा कोशिश करो, देखो, जस्ट प्रैक्टिस योर लेक्चरेट्स एवरी डे. एक
Right.
ग्रुप बनाओ और अपनी लेक्चरेट रोज प्रैक्टिस करो. 7 दिन में वो कंफर्टेबल लेक्चरेट बोल के गया. साथ में 2-3 और को भी उसने मोटिवेट किया,
Mm-hmm.
वो भी काफी अच्छे हुए.
Mm-hmm.
आई मीन, आई क्लैप, आई डोंट क्लैप लाइक दिस, वी डोंट क्लैप, बट इट
Mm-hmm.
वाज अ क्लास गोइंग ऑन, तो मैंने बोला वाह, आई
Mm-hmm.
एम आई एम रियली हैप्पी व्हाट यू हैव डन. एंड दिस बॉय गॉट वन ऑफ द हाईएस्ट मार्क्स इन द एसीसी बैच.
Wow.
सो नाउ डू वी से कि बहुत अच्छी अंग्रेजी बोलने वाला सिलेक्ट होगा? नहीं
Mm-hmm.
ना.
Right, sir.
आइडिया, नॉलेज,
Mm-hmm.
आपका जोश,
Right.
जज्बा, कॉन्फिडेंस can take you really across the whole situation,
Mm-hmm.
rather than getting stuck with कि मैं बोल नहीं पाऊंगा, I don't have the words, and
Mm-hmm.
you give up.
Right, sir.
So you
Attitude
see,
really
this
matters
boy
in
was there and he made it.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, your knowledge matters a lot. If you have
Mm-hmm.
knowledge, कोई नहीं रोक सकता आप.
This is one of the thought process which I've heard from many of the candidates, that some says, knowledge nahi hoga to bhi chalega. Focus on OLQs, have a routine, do this, do that. Whereas there is other set of people I've heard them saying, knowledge over anything. So if you are very knowledgeful, every organization would love to have you. So what is your point of view in this scenario, sir? Which is having more weightage?
Well, actually, we are talking about the same thing. What is
Okay.
an OLQ? OLQ is qualities of the mind,
Mm-hmm.
qualities of heart,
Mm-hmm.
qualities of the guts, and qualities of limbs, that is action. Now, in the qualities of the mind, you have this quality called reasoning ability, which is actually when you ask GTOs or you ask any assessor,
Mm-hmm.
if you have reasoning, you can get across your whole life most comfortably.
Okay.
And what is reasoning? It starts with receptivity
Mm-hmm.
and grasp. Receptivity is your openness of your mind for new experiences, new news, new knowledge, new everything. So receptivity is like your antenna of the mind. It is helping you gain knowledge. तो स्टार्ट पॉइंट कहाँ से हो रही है? नॉलेज से ही तो हो रही है.
Right, sir.
So when you speak out things in detail, when you show deeper imagination, when you speak, what are you displaying? Knowledge मतलब क्या है? वो reasoning ही तो दिखा रहे हो आप.
Mm-hmm. Right, sir.
वो दिखा रहे हो कि आप में इंफॉर्मेशन गेन करने की एबिलिटी है, उसको लॉजिकली दिमाग में प्रोसेस करने की एबिलिटी है. दैट इज रीजनिंग एबिलिटी. तो उसका स्टार्ट पॉइंट क्या है? नॉलेज.
Mm-hmm.
सो एक्चुअली दिस थिंग मर्जेस इनटू द सेम, दैट व्हेन यू से कि नॉलेज सबसे इंपॉर्टेंट है, ऑयल की तो बाद में डेवलप कर लेना. नो सर, ऑयल की तो है ही आपके अंदर, उसको तो आपको डिस्प्ले करना सीखना है.
Okay.
So that is why, there are many people who go misguided here and there and say कि oil को कोई मेरा tick mark है. No,
Mm-hmm.
it is inside you. और वो start point तो knowledge मतलब क्या है? Knowledge is the start point of reasoning ability.
Right, sir.
And to that extent, I would say your effective intelligence, your resourcefulness,
Mm. Right.
your awareness, ये है क्या? Knowledge ही तो है.
Mhm.
तो जो जिसके अंदर नॉलेज है, उसकी रीजनिंग अच्छी होगी, वो चीजों को समझ भी पाएगा, लॉजिकल कंक्लूजन भी निकालेगा, और फिर आगे जाके चीजों को अप्लाई करके इफेक्टिव इंटेलिजेंस भी डिस्प्ले करेगा. सो दिस इज द स्टार्ट पॉइंट. इट इज नॉलेज, एंड नॉलेज इज पार्ट ऑफ रीजनिंग एबिलिटी.
Right, sir.
एंड सो योर OLQs आर स्टार्टिंग ऑफ फ्रॉम देयर. एंड आवर OLQs एक्चुअली, हम लोग तो ना GTO आपस में बात करते हैं, और बाकी एसएसएस भी, कि वैसे तो नहीं दिया है, टेक्निकली स्पीकिंग हमारे उसमें ऑल OLQs आर सेम एंड नथिंग हियर एंड देयर.
Mm-hmm.
बट रीजनिंग जो है ना, इट इज एक्चुअली हमारे लिए मदर ऑफ ऑल क्वालिटीज है.
Okay.
अगर वही नहीं है तो आपका कुछ भी नहीं हो सकता. You will not be able to analyze situations. You will not be able to do these things. You will
That's
just pick
true.
up ideas from here and there and try to work out. So what will work is the scooter mechanic's mind.
Mm.
You will become a mechanic's mind कि रोज करते हो तो रोज की बातें आप बोल दोगे.
Mm-hmm.
बट रीजनिंग आपको हेल्प करता है आपकी सोशल अडेप्टेबिलिटी में भी.
Mm-hmm.
Because when you meet people, you
Mm-hmm.
can understand their feeling. If your mind is open to gaining that knowledge of that group, how will you adjust with them?
Right, sir.
Isn't it?
Mm-hmm. Right, sir.
And the same thing goes with cooperation also. That
Okay.
if you have to cooperate, तो cooperate करना कैसे होता है? Harmoniously working with a group towards the common aim of the group. Working in harmony. तो हार्मनी कहाँ से आएगा? अंडरस्टैंडिंग से आएगा.
Mm-hmm.
अंडरस्टैंडिंग कहाँ से आएगी? कि आपको जो सिचुएशन में क्या करना है वो समझना तो पड़ेगा.
Mm-hmm.
तो व्हाट इज दैट? यू आर गेनिंग नॉलेज ऑफ द सिचुएशन.
Mm-hmm.
दैट इज हाउ रीजनिंग, और इन अदर वर्ड्स द नॉलेज ऑफ एवरीथिंग इज द स्टार्ट पॉइंट.
Everything is being correlated right now, sir. I can simply
या
relate. And I'm very happy that we are doing this session, sir. I mean, it is very insightful for me. I'm sure जो candidates देख रहे हैं वो भी काफी कुछ सीखेंगे. Sir,
यू आर
अब
अ वेरी
mock
एक्सपीरियंस पर्सन. या आई नो दैट. या गुड गुड.
Sir, there are 9 tasks, and I think a candidate spend most of the time with the GTO. And sir, sometimes there are candidates who go to multiple places for coaching and assistance, and they're very familiar with the obstacles and everything. They are overused. Is there any specific task where faking is easier to spot? Because, sir, when you do over practice, that becomes very easy for them to showcase
या
their behavior calmly and composedly performing that task.
या ऑफ कोर्स इट कम्स आउट.
Okay.
सो एक्चुअली क्या होता है कि जब कैंडिडेट आ गया है सिस्टम में, तो फेक थोड़ा सा उसके लिए ना, रिपीटेडली या क्या बोले, फेक बिहेवियर तो होगा नहीं. क्या
Mhm.
डिस्प्ले होता है इज फेमिलियरिटी.
Okay.
एंड फेमिलियरिटी मतलब कि जी वो तो पहले से जानता है।
Mm-hmm.
बेसिकली क्या होता है कहाँ पे, फेमिलियरिटी इज नॉट विद जीडी एंड जीपी। फेमिलियरिटी इज इन दैट ऑल्सो फेमिलियरिटी इज देयर, कि वो कैंडिडेट जानता है कि ग्रुप में बैठूंगा, आई एम गोइंग टू फेस पीपल, सो ही नोज हाउ टू टॉक एंड हाउ टू सिट एंड दिस एंड दैट। बट
Right.
देयर यू फाइंड कि जो नाउ इफ यू वांट टू एक्चुअली यूज द वर्ड फेक,
Mm.
तो वो सावधान बैठ जाएगा,
Okay.
क्योंकि माइंड तो नहीं अप्लाई कर पाया ना इतने दिनों से। तो वो रिपीटेडली आ रहा है एसएसबी में, तो
Mm-hmm.
उसको किसी ने बोला कि तू ऐसे बैठ जाइयो, तो तू जीडी में अच्छे उसमें आ जाएगा। बट जीडी में हमें क्या चाहिए, आपका नॉलेज और कंट्रीब्यूशन। मुझे सावधान बैठ तो नहीं चाहिए,
Mm-hmm.
या क्रॉस लेग बैठो, या मैंने हाथ ऐसे रखा था, या मैंने जेस्चर बहुत ज्यादा कर दिया, तो क्या हो गया, आप मास्क हो गए। यानी कि हिंदी में हम इसको बोलेंगे, आपके सामने एक मुखौटा है,
Mm-hmm.
आपका चेहरा एसेसर नहीं देख पा रहा है। सेम साइकोलॉजी में भी होता है,
Okay, sir.
रटी हुई कहानियां
बिल्कुल
टीएटी
बिल्कुल।
में। और वो बोलता है कि मैं तो चेप दिया इस बार पूरा, मतलब टीएटी सारे टकाटक करके आया हूँ, सिलेक्ट नहीं
बिल्कुल।
हुआ क्योंकि कॉपीड है, आपकी पर्सनालिटी तो मास्क हो गई। सेम
हम्म,
जीटीओ में टास्क तो ऐसी चुटकी में कर रहा है वो, प्रोग्रेसिव ग्रुप टास्क में हाउ कैन द जीटीओ कीप हिम अवे। सो नंबर वन, when we have candidates coming, and especially after screening में भी होता है, लेकिन after screening
हम्म,
it is the actually senior GTO and other experienced GTOs who are there.
हम्म,
We work out who are our repeaters, who are the freshers, and for that example, for that thing, we'll even mark whether somebody is from, few guys are from Sainik school or something like that, or
हम्म,
RIMC.
right, right.
So there are chances of group formation, there are chances of over familiarity, there are chances of, as you're saying, faking नहीं, लेकिन familiarity,
हम्म,
repeater, चटक है, already जानता है वो सब कुछ,
हम्म,
and freshers. So number one, they will be kept away, their group will be separate.
हम्म,
अभी रिपीटर में भी पता तो चल जाता है एक दो बार, जैसे ही दे आर वर्किंग। फॉर
हम्म,
एग्जांपल आई टेल यू, प्रोग्रेसिव ग्रुप टास्क कर रहा है, उसके हाथ में रस्सी है, जरूरत तो है नहीं, लेकिन वो दिखा रहा है जीटीओ को कि मैं सर
बस।
ऑयल करना जानता हूँ,
हम्म,
या मच्छी पकड़ना जानता हूँ, फट्टे के सामने रस्सी बांध के उसको लोअर कर रहा है। जरूरत ही नहीं है, पर आप दिखा रहे हो।
गॉट इट सर।
अब मुझे स्वेटर बुनने वाला तो नहीं चाहिए,
हम्म,
नहीं तो मैं उसी को बुला लेता और ऑफिसर बना देता। मुझे तो दिमाग चाहिए ना। एंड व्हाट इज दैट, प्रैक्टिकल कॉमन सेंस। मुझे
हम्म,
प्रैक्टिकल फेमिलियरिटी नहीं चाहिए।
हम्म,
आर यू गेटिंग इट? सो
राइट।
कैंडिडेट तो फिर हाइड हो गया मेरे से, मुझे
हम्म,
तो पता नहीं उसका एक्चुअल लेवल क्या है। तो I will take him to a task, or repeater batch, I will take them to a progressive group task. We
हम्म,
have 4 tasks. And sometimes some tasks are a bit, slightly different. I won't say level is this thing, but थोड़ा सा, थोड़े पके हुए भी task होते हैं.
हम्म,
And we have our command tasks where I will not give him the rope. I will, rope की जगह I'll give him a chain,
हम्म,
or instead of plank, I will give square bullies.
ओके।
Now he is familiar with that only. उसकी familiarity तोड़ दी मैंने. Task in which
हम्म,
things will rotate or shift, which normally don't.
हम्म,
So then he's likely to get stuck because वो familiar zone में था. जैसे ही मैंने familiar zone को तोड़ दिया,
हम्म,
खत्म हो गई। जैसे आप बोलते हो ना कि एक हमारा घोड़ा है,
हम्म,
वो रेस ट्रैक में दौड़ता है, लेकिन घोड़े का सही परख कहाँ आता है कि जब उसको आप कच्ची मतलब हार्ड ग्राउंड पे दौड़ाते हो।
हम्म,
कहीं भी दौड़ा दूंगा, तो क्या वो फिर भी दौड़ सकता है? फिर तो सही घोड़ा होगा।
बिल्कुल।
पर रेस ट्रैक निकल गई तो गए काम से।
हम्म,
सो फेमिलियरिटी, और ये जो आप यू दिस थिंग, जो हमारे सामने एक फेक चेहरा दे रहा है या मास्किंग दिखा रहा है,
हम्म,
such a candidate, we will break the familiarity. And an experienced GTO generally goes into this. It's a part of our teaching, right?
I was just having the observation when you were explaining it, and I have seen candidates who are very over smart and they feel like, they're well known with the process, and they can, really fool a GTO. But after hearing you, that perception has completely changed, because I think experience is experience, and seeing them, you are being properly trained for that, and I can completely understand how well the assessment
That is,
goes.
yeah, that is the reason everyone doesn't become an assessor. You may go ahead in other professions, but this is an
Right.
art of observing humans, and this is an art of assessing person. But
Mhm.
before you do that,
Mhm.
you have to be something yourself. You have to be, of course, naturally we come through the system, but we have to also be unbiased.
So we have come to an end, and I really loved the whole conversation. And there are a lot
Yeah.
of people who are watching, sir. Any piece of golden advice you want to give them, because they will be preparing for their upcoming SSB? I think that is going to help them a lot.
I think the first part, like you stressed, is the knowledge. And knowledge means it is actually the awareness, or in Hindi we call it Jagrukta, where
Mhm.
you are aware of yourself, your family, where you belong to. Like, there'll be people coming and I'll be asking them, which school are you from?
Mhm.
They know about the school, naturally, नाम तो पता ही होगा.
Mhm.
लेकिन स्कूल बोल पूछता हूँ, भाई स्कूल का मोटो या कुछ बता दे, कुछ हु फाउंडेड योर स्कूल, पता ही
Mhm.
नहीं.
Mhm.
Yeah, there'll be a kid who's coming and you ask, what does your father do? But what's the, which particular company, or what is the exact trade? You don't know, there's a blank. So अगर अपने आपके साथ आपकी कनेक्शन नहीं है, या आपके फैमिली जो आपका पहला ग्रुप है लाइफ में, उसके साथ आपकी डीप बॉन्डिंग नहीं है, तो आपके संस्कार, आपका कल्चर, वो
Mhm.
कहाँ से आएगा? विच इज द स्टार्ट पॉइंट. इंटरव्यू का स्टार्ट पॉइंट है, जीटीओ का स्टार्ट पॉइंट है, साइकोलॉजी का स्टार्ट पॉइंट.
Mhm.
Your natural thing comes in from this part,
Mhm.
and your awareness, Jagrukta,
Right.
and simple mantra,
Mhm.
find out more about anything which is new, a new word, a new piece of news, a new happening, a new experience.
Right.
Anything which is happening in your life which you have not come across earlier, read more about it. फॉर एग्जाम्पल, रशिया यूक्रेन के बीच में कहीं वर्ड आ जाता है किंजाल. भाई
Mhm.
किंजाल क्या है? तो पता करो, तो पता चलेगा हाइपरसोनिक मिसाइल भी यूज होने वाला है.
Mhm.
Isn't it?
Right.
Somebody uses the word between in Op Sindoor that there is this harpy. Now an average guy who's not doesn't know, इसे क्या हार्पिक डाल दिया किसी के ऊपर? No, it's a drone called harpic. Sorry, harpy. Or what is spider? सो ये नाम पढ़ते ही कई लोग अनदेखा कर देते कि नहीं यार, ये तो नहीं आने वाला एसएसबी में. डोंट डू दैट.
Mhm.
पता लगाओ. Have the radar of your mind open.
Mhm.
The more your mind is open to new ideas, new thoughts, new feelings, a
Mhm.
TAT image,
Mhm.
a story,
Yes, sir.
you you'll get more details, you'll learn more, and
Mhm.
it will enrich you as a human being. We want a all-rounded personality. We don't want somebody, I don't want नहीं बोलूंगा, but we are not looking for some 95%, और उसका कोई माने ही नहीं है हमारे लिए. हमारे लिए है कि आपके अंदर प्रैक्टिकल कॉमन सेंस है कि नहीं. यू मे बी अ बीटेक,
Mhm.
but can you make the cantilever there on ground? And that is not learned by a mechanic or somebody. It
Mhm.
is common sense. If I leave a, for that matter, a primate over there for an hour or so, वो भी कर लेगा,
Right, sir.
right?
Hmm.
So first thing is your knowledge, your experience, and your level of thinking. बच्चे जैसी थॉट होती है कईयों में. आप 5 साल के थे और आज 20 साल के हैं, तो your knowledge would have increased, your idea about things should have increased,
Mhm.
and so therefore from your routine thinking wali life, now it should be abstract thinking, where you can now think of concepts. After all, देखो, आर्मी में जाके कोई थिएटर कमांड कॉन्सेप्ट कौन लिखेगा?
Mhm.
अगर वो रूटीन थिंकिंग में है तो बोलेगा नहीं सर, हमें तो गन के लिए सिखाया था, मैं गन फायर कर दूंगा, यू ट्रेन मी टू फायर एंड कमांड अ रेजिमेंट एंड आई फायर, बट आई डोंट नो व्हाट्स थिएटर कमांड. नो, that is why the SSB makes a difference, that this man has the potential to
Mhm.
understand concepts, apply them. WAT ले लो आप, सिंपल चीज. चलो, आई वोंट ड्वेल इनटू साइकोलॉजी, आई एम अ जीटीओ, बट कोई बोलेगा फेस वैल्यू आंसर देगा, दरवाजा तो दरवाजा ही होता है जी, और क्या है. But another person will say a door, hard work opens the door to new opportunities in life. So ये thinking कैसे होगी? By your application of a concept.
Right.
तो ये थोड़ा सा ना अपने अंदर वो आना चाहिए आपका. और जिसने ये ट्रैक पकड़ लिया ना, क्योंकि आपके अंदर वो फ्लो कर रहा है, then more knowledge interests you, you tend to read more. You will be a success, whether here in the armed forces or your pathway of your life changes, you will do well. Wherever you go, you will do well.
Right, sir.
So that bigger understanding, flexible mind, dynamic mind. And of course, the mantra is eat well, sleep well, think well, and behave well, everything
Okay.
is the mantra.
Sir, I really appreciate the time that you have given to me, and thank you so much for joining me for the session. I'm sure जो candidates आपके पास आ रहे हैं, they are getting all the knowledge, not just for SSP but for life. I'm highly grateful for your time, sir. Thank you so much.
Yeah, it's been a pleasure, and I'm at the LWS Academy, and we are a whole group of SSers, all from the SSB, and we would love that you come and nurture your personalities with us.
Yes, sir.
I'm telling you and I'm guaranteeing you it will be a great experience. All right, so it's all
Yes, sir.
for our dear candidates.
Yes, sir.
Welcome always. All right.
Sir.
Thank you so much. It's been a pleasure talking to you.
Thank you, sir. Thanks for watching the video, and let me know in the comment section below if you have any doubts. Follow for more such content. Jai Hind.